Hey guys, thanks for joining us on the Wichita Real Producers Beyond the Pages podcast. I'm Sam Lucherini, your host, and we are here live in studio with Troy Trussell. It's Trussell Media. If you need any kind of branding, videos, or social media or YouTube management, Troy is your dude. So we are joined today by our preferred partner, Crystal, and I can never say your last name right. I always say McEachern, and I don't think is it correct?
No.
Okay. So then, forgive me because people say my last name, but it's just Crystal with State Farm, and she's been our OG client with us from the very beginning. And then her preferred realtor guest today is Cristy Kerbs of ReeceNichols. So thank you, ladies. Thank you for both of you for joining us this morning. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about insurance and friendship and real estate and everything in between. So on that note, Miss Crystal, please tell us how you pronounce your last name properly, because I feel like a jerk for not knowing this.
It's okay. It's pronounced McEachern. Like a TH.
Okay.
Instead of a CH.
Yes, that's a difficult one. No one probably ever says it correct. Am I? Okay. All right. Good. Then we're in the same boat.
Join the club.
Okay. That's fine. Yep. Okay. So tell us a little bit about your story, sweetheart. Like how long have you been doing insurance? Why did you choose insurance? And then tell us why you brought this gal on.
So I've been an agent almost 12 years. It'll be 12 years in November. I started out as a team member in Wellington.
Okay.
And I was selling furniture, working at the Commodore down in Wellington as a bartender. And the new agent came in and I sold her all of her new furniture when she moved to town. And she said, "Okay, Crystal, you got to come work for me."
Yeah.
And I was
you had a sales thing going.
Yeah. And I was like, "Oh my God, no way. I do not want to do insurance. That sounds awful."
Yeah.
And I drug my feet into her office, and here I am.
Isn't
I worked
that cool?
for her for 3 years.
Okay.
And it was great.
And then were you working in Wellington with that insurance, and then you came to Wichita and then started? Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. And so you were out east around Harry and Rock area, and now you're out west, right? Last year, the year before. These years have all kind of, that you've recently moved.
Yes.
Yes.
37th and Ridge.
Awesome. Very good.
Big move.
Yes, that's a huge move.
Yeah. East side to west side.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. You're making friends and making enemies all in the same move.
Yeah.
So then how long have you known Cristy? And tell us a little bit about that relationship.
So we actually grew up in Dodge City together.
Oh,
We did.
That is cool. Okay.
We go way
What
back.
a small little world. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that neat? Okay. So then you got into insurance 12 years ago. When did you get into real estate, Cristy?
So for me, I've only been in real estate 3 full years.
Okay.
So I was in education for 16 before that. Really passionate about real estate, properties, moving a lot personally, buying properties. And eventually I just decided that, it would make more sense to just go all in on that.
Yeah. I love that. Okay. Very good. So then once you got into real estate, you called Crystal and be like, "Hey, now we're going to, not only we're friends, now we can be vendor partners and do this thing together."
So we would just run into each other from time to time in different things and supporting different things. And Dodge City's funny. I was thinking about it this morning. It's kind of like a big family where it's like, don't talk about my sibling. Like I can, but you can't.
Got it. Okay. So we can't say anything bad about Dodge City.
Yeah,
okay.
No.
Okay.
And then it's funny because you just network with just Dodge City. I mean, not intentionally, but next thing you know, you're hairdressers from Dodge City, and you're your insurance agent, and your realtor, and everybody. I mean,
that's
you
cool.
know, so
True.
Yeah. It's a good little small world. I like it. Okay. So Ms. Crystal, what does a typical day in the life of insurance look like for you?
It's definitely different every single day.
Okay. That's
We
cool.
never know what's going to get thrown at us.
Okay.
For me right now, I'm doing a lot of recruiting.
Okay.
So
to building your team?
Yes, definitely. And we're just networking. We're looking for new customers. We're building relationships with our current customers.
Good.
But just a lot of coaching and just day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, just growing.
Yeah.
Would you say that a claim comes in every day? How often?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right. So on that note, what is the craziest claim story that you've ever had to deal with?
There's been some good ones.
Yeah. Because we all see those funny insurance commercials, right? Where like the most impossible thing could happen. And it does. And then it's just, then you have to make light of it. But do you have anything like that?
I would say, so back when I first started, I had this couple insured and they called me frantic. They woke up and the Hummer was gone. And I could hear both of them. They're on the phone screaming and hollering. It was like my fault that the Hummer got stolen.
Oh gosh.
It was a dramatic couple.
Yeah.
And he was in the background hollering at her, and she was like, file this claim. The Hummer's gone. Crystal, you need to find it. When are you going to find it? And I'm like, okay,
I'm not the police.
We're going to take care of it. We'll get a claim filed. And we get this all turned in. And probably an hour later, my phone rings, and it's the husband. He had gotten to Quick Trip, and he was like, Crystal, you need to cancel that claim. My girlfriend has the Hummer. I'm like,
oh my gosh.
Okay, so just like hit delete. Like, we're just pretending like this didn't happen.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
that's not fun.
That was interesting.
That's drama that sucks to be a part of still.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Interesting. I know my question, as you were telling the story, is when someone discovers something like that, a piece of stolen property, car, otherwise, and it's genuinely stolen.
Right.
Do you call the cops first, or do you call your insurance person first?
So usually people call the cops first.
Okay, that's the best order of operations.
Right.
Okay.
File a police report.
Okay, and then call you.
Yes.
Okay. Ooh, so I have to know. I mean, I don't know if anyone else is curious, but did you keep them as clients, insured clients?
You know what? This is actually a household that became more drama. And at one point when they were the first, that was the first household that I learned to fire clients. That it's okay to fire clients. And at one point I said, you know what? My team and I do not deserve to be spoken to like this. And there's a lot of other State Farm agents. So why don't you go ahead and open up the phone book
at the time? Yeah.
And pick one.
Yeah.
And we'll move your,
good for you.
Move your business.
Yeah.
And that's when they switched.
Okay.
Good. The light bulb went off, and they were like, oh, no, we're sorry. We understand. We want to stay with you. And, things change.
Yeah. No, good for you. That's you can't have your clients disrupting your peace. I mean, there's already so many ups and downs to business. But
and I have to talk to my team a lot about that, because they take a lot of verbal abuse sometimes.
Because people are calling you usually when the worst things are happening in life.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you're not a therapist. That's not the hat you need to wear. That's not the burden you bear.
Right. And, it's okay to talk about, the bad stuff that's happening and dealing with claims and that kind of stuff.
Or being upset.
Yes.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about rate increases and things like that, but to get angry and take it to like yelling and calling names, now that's when we stop.
Yeah. That's
they
just like realtors.
That.
You don't take every deal. You don't need every deal. You can fire clients too.
Yeah. It's an important lesson. I think as you get older in life, you kind of set those boundaries, protect yourself a little bit more. And
you realize you're not desperate for the business anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Life's too short.
Yeah, it is. No, this is supposed to supplement our world and bring us joy. It's not always going to be perfect every time, but you definitely don't need to put up with abuse. That's good. That's juicy. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. I wanted a good juicy story. What is your 5-year goal, Crystal, with State Farm in Wichita?
I definitely want to have multiple agencies.
Okay.
So my goal is to continue to grow and earn another agency.
Nice. I like that. Do you think you'll have multiple locations?
That's
is that what you're meaning? Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So you'll have a couple of different all over. All right.
Yes.
I like that. Very good. What is an unusual habit or an absurd thing that you love?
I couldn't really think of one.
Okay. That's okay.
That was one I couldn't think of.
That's all right. Cristy, do you have any unusual habits or any fun hobbies that, like some people are obsessed with horses, or some people like to crochet, or they like motorcycle, or, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about unusual. I mean, I love outdoors. I love to golf. My whole family golfs, so my kids. That's really fun. We're sporty. I'm the least sporty of all of us, but I join in with the others. So
I like that. That is fun. So you can just like the golf family outings.
We do. Yes, it's great for travel.
I feel like that's a little bit different when the whole family's doing it.
Yeah. So when we travel, we'll pick a day and
that's right. Yeah,
pick a course, and it's fun.
Yeah. That's cool. Okay.
I guess people probably wouldn't realize I love to shoot guns.
Okay. Yeah.
So going out and shooting is like therapy for me.
Yes.
Give me a gun.
That's
let
right.
me shoot.
Yeah. Safely go take out your anger and frustrations.
Where do you like to go? Where's your favorite?
What is out by Augusta? I'm just going blank. The range out there.
I don't know.
Yes.
I usually like indoor ranges, but there's a couple of private outdoor ranges around. Yeah. That is fun. Okay. Yeah. What weapon of choice? Do you like pistols? Do you like rifles?
I like both.
Both. Okay. That's right. It's better to be familiar with them all. We're in Kansas after all.
That's
right. Second Amendment. We got to keep that. Crystal, this is kind of the chance for you to kind of give your spiel to the Wichita real estate industry. What do you want them to know about you? When do you want them to use you? And why would they use you over another insurance person?
I think State Farm, we're totally different than other insurance companies. We're not always going to be the cheapest, but I believe that we are the best. We provide a different service than other insurance companies, and the reason why is we sit down with our customers. We really take the time to explain each coverage, and we're passionate about what we do in building relationships. So
that's awesome. And I think that's very unusual. I mean, anyone around our age has had several different types of insurances. And reading that legalese, those laws is just not fun. And so it is just nice to be like, what happens if this happens? Give me, and it's just nice to have that explained, to know what we're paying, because a lot of us are paying hundreds or thousands of dollars a month in insurance.
And the value is, when you call my office, you're talking to the same person every time you call in, instead of an 800 number.
Yes. Yeah, a real human in Wichita.
Exactly.
That we could drive there if we wanted, which is pretty uncommon these days.
Yes. Comforting. And, when that claim does happen, I'm the in-between. You have a whole claim team, but if something goes wrong, you can call me and I can help out.
Yeah, so I like that. Okay, very good. All right, Miss Cristy, so let's talk about, you were in education for a long time. You want to kind of dig into that a little bit more, and then just more about how, why real estate, why ReeceNichols, a little bit more history.
Sure. So I just love people. I like being with people, and then I'm loyal. So when I start something, changing is, I'm loyal. I stick with it. So I taught English for 10 years and then was a middle school assistant principal for 6. And, I'm ambitious. So I would just, I was in the classroom, and then I was like, well, now I want to lead some things. I want to do some things, bigger things, So did that for a while, and it was great. But a lot of it is managing people, conflict resolution, calming the storm, and people are most passionate about money and their children.
Yes.
So,
yes, you nailed it.
Funny enough, the two weirdly go hand in hand. So I'm not so much calming things about children anymore, but people's, biggest investment is often their house. And so there's a lot of similarities that's just sort of aligned. And so I was just thinking about a different career path. I like to work on things. I work on properties myself. I like to do things myself. And so I was spending more and more time doing that. And I thought, I'm just going to do that. I'm going to just take a break. And I've always worked, I've never not had a job. And thought, well, I'm just going to go all in and work on my properties. Well, I think, so I resigned, before COVID, then COVID hits, schools shut down. I think I made it like 2 months at home.
Yeah.
I was going to, just stay home and work on some things.
Yeah.
I think I made it like 8 weeks. And then I enrolled in the real estate class, and told my husband, like, it just didn't take. I mean, the whole time
you do not want me bored at home like this. This isn't working. So you can only do so many projects.
Yeah. So I just did a crash course. And next thing I knew, I was working with teachers and other administrators and people from my hometown, and, just so many people that I had kind of lost contact with. When you're just, in the building from 6:45 in the morning to 7:30 at night, you lose touch with people in the outside world. So it was just this new freedom to reconnect with a lot of people. And so that just kind of happened naturally I would just think like, hey, who have I not talked to forever that I just want to touch base with? And so
let them know what you're doing now.
Yeah. So I was running into people and visiting with people, and then it just took off. So
that's awesome.
I feel very blessed that people trust me. And I love it. I love working with them. I love helping them, whether they're investing or downsizing or building, or everything. Everything's exciting. So
that is really cool. Yeah, you were made for it. I mean, you you probably didn't know when you first got into real estate that you had this incredible sphere that you'd been building all these years. And now you get to nurture that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's nurturing
Not at all.
you back.
And I think too, you just get so hung up on the schedule of jobs. When you're younger, you're taught like, what kind of job do you want to have? Well, I don't know. This one takes this much time.
You
and
fit
this one
inside
takes
this
this
one
much
box.
time. And it's so different now. That's so untrue. There's so many great careers out there that have flexibility and are family friendly, and it's, so.
I agree. I like that. Okay. Very good. So outside of work, what are you spending a majority of your time doing?
I'm kind of a lifelong learner, so I'm just really brushing up on as much knowledge as I can, spending time with people.
Yeah.
I kind of have this policy where I just don't say no. Like somebody's like, "Do you want to do this?" Yes, I want to do this.
Okay.
And so, do you want to come to this thing we're having? Yes, I want to go to that. Do you want to meet me for lunch? Yes. And so I've just met so many people. I spend a lot of time out and about, being able to volunteer. Last time we saw each other was this summer at a car show that we just volunteered at. Both of us were just kind of helping out, and
good.
So just saying yes and just
I'm
seeing
glad you
where
said
the
yes to
city
this.
takes you. Yeah.
So then in that, because my first thought there is, yes, that's incredible. And I can only imagine how many doors that opens up for you. But how do you still balance and protect the personal time and the personal life when you are saying yes to nearly everything, whether it's, volunteering or friends or business or, education? How's that balanced?
Sure. So right now I'm fortunate because my kids are kind of at an age where they seem to be, they have like softball conditioning or pitching after school or basketball practice or, and so there's always this window of time where it seems like my husband's helping coach or they have some practice. And so, they're just at an age where it's very easy to come and go. My daughter's driving. So I don't want to, paint this picture that it's so easy to be gone all the time.
Sure.
Life has just sort of
you're in the right
fit
stage.
in the timing with the stage to be able to do things. And a lot of people are doing a lot of things, early bird catches the worm. So people are up for coffees and people are up for lunches and you can accomplish a lot.
Before noon
if
even.
you get up and get going.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the morning is my favorite time. What is, you've been in the market now for about 3 years. And you've experienced a lot of change. You've come into a market that's not normal, which I'm sure everyone's telling you that. But how would you describe our market? We're in February of 2023. How would you describe our market?
Yeah, I think the best word I can think, I was thinking about that this morning, is selective. Okay. The market is now selective. So buyers are selective on what they want to buy. They're not going to just put down crazy money. They're not going to
be okay with, this fixer-upper.
Sellers are going to be selective if they decide that they are ready to sell. They want a plan. They want a purpose. So everybody's just, I don't think people are cautious. I just think they're being selective about their choices.
That makes sense. I like that. Okay. What purchase of $100 or less has been most impactful for you?
I think just books, anything from books to escape. I mean, under $100, sadly, that's not a lot, right?
I know. Yeah. Crystal, has anything come to mind for you of anything $100 or less that's just been really awesome?
I was going to say the exact same thing. Yeah. I've started buying audiobooks and trying to just get rid of music and doing the audiobook thing in the car when I'm working out. And that has been awesome.
It's a game changer. Yeah, you can listen. I mean, I would say my answer's always been Audible, just my monthly subscription to Audible and all the books you can read and everything you can consume that way. Once in a while, though, I just need some really loud music in the car.
Absolutely.
But yeah, for the most part, it is. It's nice to kind of be still absorbing that knowledge, even if it's a little bit more subconsciously.
Yes.
I like that. Okay. We're talking about, failures and in the moment something might have felt like, a disaster or a failure. And then looking back, because hindsight's always 20/20, you realize that was really a beautiful gift. That was a blessing. So does anything like that come to mind for you, whether it's in real estate or just in life?
Sure. I think a lot of times the failure is aligned with the timing. I always want deals to happen quicker.
Right then, yeah.
Or, just the coaching of people to understand that just being under contract does not mean you're necessarily close to the finish line.
That's
and there
right.
are no guarantees. And so, just that can feel like a failure because you just want to meet people's expectations. I want to meet people's expectations, but just learning to manage expectations rather than just meet whatever expectations they've set has been key. And I think in so many things. I mean, I had this repair request, and I, used the red line to line through the things we weren't going to do, and then rewrote the things we were going to do. And I felt like we were still doing a lot, but I had lined through a lot, and even just to rewrite it. And somebody said to me, now, wait a minute, you were in education. What if you got that paper back with all that red pen over it? Yeah. And I thought,
your first thought is that.
Yeah, that's automatically going to make. So just so many little lessons on little things, the way people do things, the way really seasoned agents approach things.
Yeah, the psychology of that.
Amazing to learn. And so a lot of little failures that I've had great guidance of correcting, before it's a catastrophic mistake. So
yeah. I love that. Ms. Crystal, what about you? Same question.
Well, with my move, I would say
moving west.
It was years of planning, and it took me a long time to make the move.
Yeah. It's scary. That's huge.
Yeah. And I had a great team, and I thought we were all on board for this move. And once I found a location, I went back to them, and I was so excited to share the news of this location, and both of them resigned. And I was like,
that's crushing. Yes. Yeah.
So I had to start over and start fresh. But I hired out of desperation. And that's never the place to hire. No. And I know that.
It's never the place to be when you're selling anything, in fact.
And so, just I had to make changes again. Yeah. And now I'm back into a good spot with a new team, and things are getting better.
Good. I didn't know that. Yes. Well, and you're right. I can only imagine how crushing that would be. But now looking back, it might have saved you from something. Like it happened exactly how it needed to happen to be able to get you to where you are now and get you where you're going to go. That's good. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad it's okay now. I'm glad that's in the past, and we can just laugh about it and see it as a lesson. That's good. Favorite book. I know we're all into some audiobooks now. Favorite book or most gifted book?
I always keep paychecks and playchecks, and I give that out to my customers.
Okay.
I love David Goggins.
Yeah.
So anything.
He's intense.
Yes. That's my favorite.
Okay. All right. Cristy, what about you?
I don't really have a favorite. I'm reading The Go-Giver right now.
Yes.
I like that. And then I'm also studying up with Avery Carl and some of the bigger pocket stuff, and the short-term rental, long-term wealth. So that's kind of my next niche. Not niche. Yeah. I mean, I'm in real estate, but just I got a lot of things swimming around. Where
that brings to mind some books that I've enjoyed recently. One is called Tax Free Wealth. I feel like that would be right in your wheelhouse. And then you said Early Bird Gets the Worm. So my favorite book is The Miracle Morning, and so by Hal Elrod, and that's about getting up an hour earlier. And the foundation of a lot of these successful people is all about, even David Goggins, that foundation is about getting up earlier and having your morning routine and sticking to that and getting in the right mindset, because you never know what the day is going to throw at you. Yeah.
So true.
Yes. What if you guys had a gigantic billboard in town? I mean, I know I could assume, but if you did, what would be on that billboard? What would it say? And where would it be?
Like a good neighbor.
I think my favorite is when your baby, you took a picture of him in the little Jake from State Farm outfit.
Yes.
I mean, you can never go wrong with a baby in khakis.
I know.
Yeah, that was the best picture. Yes, super adorable. You should keep reusing that, even once he's 20 years old. Just keep reusing it. Cristy, if you had a billboard, what would it say?
Gosh, I don't know, but it'd definitely be something that markets myself and call me. I mean, you can't shut off that business mindset of just you're always trying to
selling,
find a client, get a customer.
That's right. Always be filling that pipeline.
Yep.
I love that. Okay. What advice would you give to realtors coming into, or people that want to come into the industry, and or any myths that you'd like to debunk about getting into real estate?
Sure. I think with anything you do, my very best friend, she said, you're making this big career change and thing. She's like, but you have to give it 100% your first year. You have to give a full year of 100% before you even begin to evaluate if this is what you're meant to be doing.
Smart.
And I thought that was so valuable because, change, there's always adjustments with change, and it's easy to get in your own head about, you're hard on yourself.
Yeah. Or a deal didn't go through. And you think everything is going to be ruined now.
Right. And so, but if you give 100%, I mean, you're thinking ahead. You're listening, you're attending every training. You're doing everything that's offered to you. And ReeceNichols provides a lot of things you can listen to online, things you can attend, things you can, so that's been wonderful. But I mean, I would just tell people that you just have to work hard at anything that you do, and you have to find some happiness in it, find some passion in it, but then it's got to be beyond yourself, greater than yourself. So you're helping others, you're caring for others. It's those relationships that Crystal talked about. I mean, it's just really about the people, and maybe real estate or insurance, or, advertising, or all those are vehicles, but it's really just the people you cross paths with.
Yeah. That's the most fun, is when you do, you have, it starts out as a business friendship, right? And then it evolves into a friendship, a real business, or a real relationship.
And like debunking a myth is that, people think, they can sell their house themselves, or they can do whatever themselves. It's not that hard. And I do think that even myself during the training thought, well, why would somebody call? Yes, you have to have that guidance.
Yes.
There's so many ins and outs and ways that a good agent can really protect you, and help you, with your purchase or your sale, and all of that usually equates to dollars. So,
the actual selling of, the property might not be that hard, but it's everything else.
Yes.
That the normal person is not equipped, nor do they know. And that's where they really get in troubles in the weeds. So.
Yeah. And those details are so important. So that's important for new agents.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know. Crystal, same question. What, someone that's wanting to make a career change, or someone that is actually interested or attracted to insurance, what advice would you give them? And then what are some of the myths that you might want to debunk about your industry?
I think Cristy just hit it on the head. Like, you've got to give your all and go 100%. It's going to take extra work. It's going to be longer hours and, extra time and extra learning and extra classes. Be the best at whatever you choose to do, and learn everything. So I think a lot of people get into like our industries, insurance and real estate, and think, well, she did it, so it's going to be a breeze.
Yeah. They don't see all the weeks and long days and hours and all that.
I remember when I was studying for securities license, I had 2 little ones at home, and I would put in earplugs and study while they're running around the house. It's evening time, and just study. And I don't think a lot of people want to put in the extra work that it takes. They just think, okay, I'm going to show up at this job 9:00,
and then they're entitled to
take my hour lunch, get out of here at 5, and then I'm done. And then it's just
you got to work
to me
to be able to have that, and even then, you might not ever experience that on the regular.
Yes,
that makes sense.
And same thing with insurance too. A lot of people just want to look at the bottom line. How much is it going to cost?
Yeah.
And I'm going to go find the cheapest thing. And they never look at what that actually means. What are you purchasing? You need to know what you're paying for. Is this replacement cost? Or when your roof gets totaled, is it going to be depreciated? All those the little fine lines. So
that we aren't going to usually spend time reading.
Right.
We're only calling you when we're freaking out. And then getting even more mad. So, insult to injury.
Yes.
I like that.
So the value of having a local agent is a big deal.
Yeah. Without
and somebody that knows what they're talking about too.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. All right, ladies. Well, we're almost done. We're going to wrap up with some would you rather questions, just a quick little round of some fun questions. So the questions go to both of you. And you can give the explanation as to why if you want to, because that always sometimes gets interesting. Would you rather be covered in fur or scales?
Fur.
I think fur.
Okay.
Always fur.
Would you rather go to jail for a year, or, I'm switching up this question, go to jail with a Rubik's Cube and not leave till it's done?
I'd try the Rubik's Cube. I mean, maybe you get out early.
I would try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I just thought it was hilarious. And Troy and I were talking about this earlier. Troy did learn the Rubik's Cube in 2 weeks during COVID. So there's hope for other adults that we could probably do this. Would you rather spend the rest of your life on a sailboat or in an RV?
Sailboat.
Okay.
RV.
Okay. Would you rather be able to go back in time or tell the future?
I'd probably go back in time.
Okay.
Back in time.
All right. New build or 100-year-old home?
100-year-old home.
Okay.
New build.
See, I'm with you. New build all the way. They're beautiful, but that's a lot of upkeep. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Dogs.
Okay. And would you rather lose the ability to read or to write?
Right.
I would write. I agree.
Yeah. So we could keep reading and absorbing and learning. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Well, that's a wrap, ladies. So thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules and for coming on the podcast. As always, thank you for joining us. Be sure to subscribe so you're not missing our weekly drop of our podcast. And that's a wrap on the Wichita Real Producers Beyond the Pages podcast.